We are going to walk through the process of creating a graph for you using Google Sheets. The first thing that you're going to need is your lab sheet that has all of your data on it. I have created a set of lab data that is not necessarily exactly like your data. So your data might look a little bit different, but please make sure that you have your lab sheet with all of your information on it. You are also going to need to open the Google Sheets in your Google Classroom. It is going to look like this. You don't have anything on it yet. We're going to get it all set up, and I'm going to show you how to create a graph here. What you're going to have in here is you're going to add your data. The only data that we need is the data that is the mass of the marble, the set right here, and the volume of the marble. We don't need to use the total volume and the total mass. That was just for calculation purposes. So your first column here, and I've put it off one to the side because this is actually going to be the number of marbles for your reference. We had up to 10 marbles here. We're also going to have the mass of the marbles. Remember that the units for the mass was grams, and the volume of the marbles, that was in milliliters. You are going to have to enter your own set here. Since I'm on the computer, I can just copy and paste. Which it doesn't want to do. And you're also going to put in for your volume. Remember to make sure that you are using the proper column. We'll come back to the density a little bit later. Once you have these numbers in here, you're going to select just those cells that have these particular numbers. That's your data, and that's what you're going to be graphing. You're going to insert a chart. So go to the Insert column, go down to Chart, and it's going to create a chart that looks like this, and you're going to have a number of options. We don't want this particular chart for this because we're looking at the correlation between the mass and the volume. If you go to column chart and you drop down, you can see that there are a number of different types of charts that you could be using. Please scroll down. We are going to use a scatter chart. So your chart should look something like this. We need to customize our chart because we have to make sure that it has a title, that it has units, and there are some things on here that also we don't need. Go to the drop-down and choose the chart and axis titles. You need to choose a title that describes what this data is talking about. I am not going to put in a title that you should use because I want you to come up with something that is going to be descriptive of what your experiment was about. But your graph should have a descriptive title. Choose the drop-down menu here from where it says Chart Title, your horizontal axis title. This is the mass of the marbles. Remember to include the units, grams. Choose the drop-down menu again, and the vertical axis title. This is going to be the volume of the marbles. The units that we used for the volume is milliliters. You're going to collapse this, and I'm going to have you take off a few things here. In the series section, I'm going to have you add a trend line. For a scatter plot like this, where we're looking at the correlation between the mass of the marbles and the volume, a trend line would make sense. In this case, mine is perfectly even. It has a very even slope and all of the dots fall on there, but I have created my own set of data, so not all of your dots might fall on this line. We're next going to go down to the legend, and I'm actually going to take this legend off because there's no reason to have it. So I'm going to go to none. And you'll see that this blue dot right here goes away. For this graph, we don't need one. We don't need to change anything else for the horizontal and the vertical axis, although you could make different colors and things like that. This is your graph. It has a title. It has labeled axes with units. It has your data in a descriptive format. And then you are done with your graph.